And the Nigerian Meteorological Agency has warned of heavy rainfall and possible flooding in 6 states in the country. Well, joining us now is the Director General of the agency, Professor Matazu. Thank you so much, Professor, for joining us tonight on the news.
Good evening.
Great. Well, let's begin by asking you to reiterate the warnings you have issued for the year. How different will they be from the previous warnings you have given?
Yeah, actually, thank you so much. If you remember vividly, we've issued our seasonal climate prediction as early as February by our supervising minister, Senator Hadi Sirika, in which we also gave out advisories based on sectoral activities in the country, one of which is the early warning, since the forecast reflects that we're going to have above normal, and some areas will have normal rainfall activities. And above all, we are in the era of climate change, whereby we have climate change-induced high-intensity rain within a limited time, and coupled with some activities also, especially within the urban areas that tend to block drainages, and also people live in floodplain areas. And that is what we are seeing, a combination of flash floods across the country within cities and urban locations, and coupled with also rivers are swelling up, because we also issued out a forecast earlier with an update that we're going to have high intensity rain within the next few weeks. And this is what we're witnessing now. The difference between this year's forecast with the previous years, we're having excellent relationship with many MDAs, especially at the federal level. And even at the FCT level, we're having an excellent relationship with SEMA. They are doing excellent work in sensitizing public on this. But I think the missing link is compliance by public on some of these advisories we provide.
Right, and that seems to be where the challenge is, Professor Matazu. I mean, you every year you give these warnings and wonder how much behavioral change have you seen, especially in the citizens? And more importantly, how should government and citizens be responding right now to this early warnings?
Actually, climate services is such a value chain that requires a vertical and horizontal relationship. We're having excellent horizontal relationship with relevant MDAs such as NEMA, Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Water Resources, Health, and others. But people at the vertical level, at community level, need to take weather forecast very serious. The business is no more as usual. We have seen floods in many parts of the country and in the world, and also making that global warming is a reality. And in Nigeria, we're having local factors also confirming that we have localized climate change effects. And as such, it requires all hands to be on deck, even including community-based organizations and other NGOs in sensitizing public. And citizens should take these advisories very serious because it affects property, it cause induced hardship, and also at times the loss of lives. So people should value weather and climate advisories, and also government agencies should integrate such into their planning activities. We do give a lot of time, what we call lead time. We predict and also provide a platform and relay this forecast 4 to 5 months in advance, so that for various MDAs to take into consideration this forecast in their planning purposes, activities. But what we're seeing is disconnect, especially by citizens. People tend to don't follow guidelines on buildings, on waterways, and also we come and dump refuse in front of our houses and on water channels. We have seen a lot of this urbanized flood in Kano and also Jigawa and many parts of Borno states. And we're going to see more because the rivers are already getting recharged by this high intensity rain, especially in the Sahelian states and also up in Niger Republic and other parts of the West Africa. So we have a lot of inflows of water coupled with the persistent rainfall activities. We're going to see rivers swelling up, and also coupled with high intensity rain, we're going to have a combination of riverine flooding with flash floods. So people should please evacuate low-lying areas, and also we need to do some communal effort in clearing drainages and also sensitization activities is being carried out by relevant MDS such as NOAA. We have also a very good relationship with NOAA and many other enabling organizations in the country.
Yeah, Professor, I was just going to ask you what is making those states more prone to flooding, states that you've mentioned to be on the watch out: Niger, Bauchi, Plateau, Kaduna, Nasarawa, and even the FCT. But you did mention something about rivers. Is that what is responsible for all the flooding in these states? We are likely to see these heavy rains and heavy flooding.
Yeah, we consider at times alignment and based on the passage of the storms, cloud-making storms that pass through these states, number one, and also the geographical location and hydrology, drainage basin of this. So some of these states lie within the floodplain parts of the country, but also we are also monitoring what we call weather active zones of the country, which lies also within such states that we have provided. So in most cases now we are witnessing flash flooding, but we're having soil moisture well recharged in the northeast and northwestern parts of the country. And in the nearest few days, we're going to have a combination of riverine flooding because the rivers are getting well recharged. So it's a combination of synoptic features of meteorology and also geographical features based on their terrain and drainage basin systems.
Right, and I'm wondering what exactly those areas that are not so prone, what are they doing right? Does it have anything to do with their own activities, or it's just nature that's kind to them? And also I'd like you to help us understand, NEMA did give some kind of warning about 2 weeks ago. How is it different from your own early warnings? So we hear from NEMA that 233 local governments will be affected. 32 of the 36 states will also be impacted this year. How is your warning different from NEMA's?
Actually, we belong to the same category of in the early warning system value chain. But where NIMET and NAHISA, we produce forecasts based on weather prevailing systems, and also NISA provide forecasts on flood-prone areas, especially based on the hydrology of surface water. So NEMA is one of our first consumer of our forecast, which now consume and then translate and relate to public, because producers of weather forecasts in the value chain do not have the capacity and also our mandate to reach out to all nooks and crannies of this country. But this organization known as enabling organization like NEMA and other NOAA and other also Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Water Resources and other MDAs, they consume and then also they assimilate, consume, and then relate to the relevant users. So NEMA they're doing their own bits of the job in the value chain, and we give them updates most of the times. We have a permanent DEX relationship with NEMA. So it's the same thing. They just cascade and then also escalate our forecast. As we said earlier, this flood is a combination of the geography and the meteorology of the country, and these weather zones move based on the fluctuation of the ITDs. So even areas that are not prone to flood in the next few days will have also their own share in the coming weeks, because the season will have up to October and early parts of November to persist. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Professor Matazu is the DG, the Director General of Nigeria Meteorological Agency, for joining us tonight. Thanks.